Welcome back to Newsbeat here on Metro TV. Let's go to Parliament, where the minority group has accused the government of illegally recruiting NPP members into the security service. At a press conference addressed by the minority leader, Dr. Akasia Latofosin, every NPP parliamentary candidate has been allocated 30 slots for enlistment into the various security services, a move they believe is designed to influence the December polls.
The minority can authoritatively state that not long ago, the NPP government again has illegally and fraudulently given out 30 slots to all NPP parliamentary candidates across the country for the recruitment into the security services, namely Ghana Police Service, 2, the Immigration Service, 3, the Fire Service, 4, the Ghana Army, 5, the Ghana Navy, and 6, the Ghana Air Force. 30 slots to each parliamentary candidate of the NPP. The recruitment of the NPP foot soldiers into the security services, especially in this election year, is a calculated attempt to compromise the elections, given that the loyalty of the new recruits in the event that they are deployed will be to the ruling NPP and not to the state, as it is required for all security personnel.
According to the member on the Interior Committee, James Agalga, the NPP is absorbing its vigilantes into the security services, with many of them being persons with disabilities.
This government is bent on politicizing the security services, and if care is not taken, we will not have any security apparatus at all. You've seen pictures of people with disabilities. With all apologies to people with disabilities, recruited into the security services because of their partisan, character. All we're saying is that NPP must put a halt to this phenomenon of recruiting party vigilantes into our security services.
He indicated the Interior Minister will be heard before Parliament if government does not stop the move.
A law was passed by Parliament against vigilance.
Pargrave Boachidankwa joins me via phone for a conversation on this allegation made by the NDC minority group in Parliament. Pargrave, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Very good afternoon to you.
So, Parliament is a house of records, and members of Parliament will not be expected to peddle falsehood without facts. Do you think that this allegation made by them is anything to go by?
Annie, thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to you. I'm glad that you began the interview by stating that Parliament is a house of records, and I'm also glad that you have stated that members of Parliament are not supposed to be peddling falsehoods, and I stand very much on this statement to state that what the Honourable James Agalga is stating from the minority side of Parliament is nothing else than falsehood that is being peddled. There is no person in Parliament, either from the majority side, that is being given 30 slots to join the police, the immigration, the fire service, the prisons, the customs. So nothing of that nature is happening. It's never come to the notice of that, and it's not happening at all. It should be treated as false and palpable. That, to say the least, we are aware that every single year there are advertisements that are made. Recall in 2023, the Ghana Forces made advertisements as it relates to recruitment, and persons that would usually qualify will buy forms. You qualify, you go for body selection. After body selection, you go for medicals. After medicals, and then you go into the training processes. There is none at all that is being given to political party members, as is being purported by a former Deputy Minister for Interior, who is very much aware that this is nothing that happens.
You know that it's been rumored a lot of the times within the political space where we have lists of persons' names that have been sent to various security installations, and we're told that sometimes they are all recommended by the powers that be. Have you heard that before?
I haven't come across it at all. I haven't come across it at all. In fact, you're telling me now I haven't come across is that persons of influence either.
You have not
of
heard
any of the
anything
level,
called
none
protocol
at all.
list. You have not heard anything called
None
protocol
at all.
list before.
None at all. I haven't heard anything at all. The
You've
various
never
persons.
heard. Paragraph.
The various persons.
No, I want you to emphatically state that you've never heard anything called protocol list.
I have never heard anything of that regard called protocol list. I've never heard it.
Right. Do you find this necessary to look into it since you are spokesperson for governance and security?
Very much so. Very much so. I mean, I have been holding conversations all across board. I've been having conversations all across board to ensure that we verify this. But as I speak to you now, there is nothing of that nature. As I speak to you, there are no slots that are given to the majority side of Parliament to be able to get people to come into the military or the police or the fire service. It's palpable.
Have you spoken to the group that made this allegation? That's a minority group.
Well, you see, the minority group is making an allegation that persons are being given, and we work within the security circles. I've spoken to all the security personnel, from the military to the police to the fire service to the prisons to the immigration, and nothing of that nature is ongoing. Nothing at all. And it's important to state.
That's making the allegation, don't you think? He who alleges must prove.
Yes, of course. And so he should prove. There's no evidence that he has to bear. And you are aware that every single recruitment that happens in this country must go through a financial clearance. There is nobody that is recruited as is purported. If you do the 30 by the side of the minority, you are getting close to about 8,000 plus people that are purported to be recruited under the government of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo in this season. I don't think that we even are ready to recruit that. We have ensured that there is always an equitable ratio between the military and the civilian. And as we stand now, we are very confident that the security personnel are equipped enough. We are very confident that the security personnel have such equitable number in ratio with the civilians.
Do you intend to speak with the minority?
We are in Parliament together. I think that the minority are aware that all these conversations that they are raising are palpable lies. And it's important to state that we shouldn't get to the stage of politicizing the security environment. Every single person who is in the military, who is in the police, who is in the immigration, who is in prisons, who is in customs, it's not supposed to be politicized. We don't need to politicize it. When you go to the highest level of military war school, they tell you that it's important that there is an equitable share of ethnic balance in every security endeavor in terms of the number of people that are recruited in that space. And so that is what we do in this country. There is an equitable share balance of every ethnic group represented within the security architecture.
Paragraph Boachi Dankwa, spokesperson for governance and security. Thank you for your time. Let's engage the security analyst, Adam Bona, to tell us more about this situation. Mr. Adam Bona, thank you for your time. You're welcome to Newsbeat. Good afternoon. Kindly unmute. I'm sorry, do unmute so we can hear you. We're following up on a story of the minority group making allegations against the majority group that members have been allotted 30 slots in every security installation to bring their protocol list, what we term in the political space. Adam Bona, if you can hear me, good afternoon to you once again.
Good afternoon, Annie.
Great.
Thank you for having me.
Right, thank you for your time. How serious do you take or do you regard this allegation?
Well, I think it's so serious, if it is anything to go by. It is very serious. I am wondering if parliamentary candidates are given 30 slots for, to be filled into the security agencies. I'll be wondering how many the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, might be getting, how many the vice president, the chief of staff, the ministers. Remember, it's not every minister or deputy minister who is a member of parliament or who is a candidate for the upcoming parliamentary elections and, parliamentary elections. So I am wondering how many. So it will be good to probe further to know what is going on. My only concern is that the interior minister should stop talking. The interior minister, he is only a policy maker. He's not the spokesperson for the security agencies, the technocrats the administrators, the IGP or his PRO, the CDS or the PRO or the Public Affairs Directorate of the military, as well as the prisons, the fire service, the Ghana Immigration Service, and the rest. I think these are institutions that politicians would go and come and meet. And so I think it is in the best interest of all of us, for the policymaker, my friend, the Interior Minister, Honorable Henry Korte, to stop talking. I've heard him say that they have to go back to a backlog. I am not sure about that, but I would urge that let's tread cautiously, because I have no proof of what the allegations, but I have heard about protocol, and sometimes you will see on social media politicians displaying either personnel from the military, from the other agencies, taking photos with them because they passed out. And people would allege, and some politicians have actually alleged, it is in the news, but some politicians have alleged. I am aware of a politician who alleged that he got about 80 slots for a certain recruitment into one of the agencies, because that the training facility for that particular security agency is in his constituency. Mm-hmm. And therefore the 80 he got was too small. I heard about it, and it was in the news. If you Google it, you will find it.
In fact, some of the members of parliament, especially the PCs.
And so I think the Interior Minister, I would urge him to stop talking and allow these agencies to come together and tell Ghanaians what are they doing. Because one day the Interior Minister would go, another Interior Minister will come, and it will be the same security agencies. Nothing is going to change. So I think he shouldn't be talking. Let's hear from them. Is it true that these things are done? But if he begins to talk, then it fuels that, what do you call that, that suspicion that
the Interior Minister
is widespread.
The Interior Minister obviously probably finds it necessary to come out now, because to me, it looks as though the minority has not treated us fairly by just throwing in such a wild allegation, considering the fact that they are members of parliament who are giving information based on facts. But they have given us the information halfway and expects that we will have to find a way to get the rest of the story or the allegation they're making.
Well, yes. I say the Interior Minister because, you see, these allegations have been made against the government that is made up of the MPP government, and the Interior Minister is a representative of the president who, was elected as a presidential candidate on the ticket of the MPP before Ghanaians elected him as a president. And so, by extension, when politicians are alleging that some administration or these administration are a creation of law, something untoward is going on, you expect those institutions to come out themselves and speak so that we can hold them responsible. That is all I'm saying. Because I usually would say the politicians, especially when you are in government, don't be so quick to talk. Allow those who have been asked to do the work, because the Interior Minister is only a policy maker.
Right.
So is he confirming that that is the case? Because I've heard a post associated with him that says that they are going to go to a backlog and there won't be any adverts.
Yeah.
But that is where the issue is. So at the moment, is that a policy of government? Is it a policy of government that there won't be any advertisements for the agencies? Because you see, I would want to hear the defense minister, let's hear the defense minister also now talk. You hardly would hear the defense minister talk. And I know, and I say ministers should tread cautiously when these things come up, because then you either would fuel the suspicion or you say certain things that it is difficult for anyone to understand.
Right.
And so, yes, the minority have spoken. They haven't given us the evidence. I have on my own checked. I mean, I have relations who are on both sides, the MPP and the NDC. I checked with some of them, and they said they have not been given any slots. But my question is that maybe there are some people within the MPP as parliamentary candidates who are getting slots.
Right.
Or maybe I'm also hearing that there are even some people within the NDC who have gotten some slots.
Right.
But all these are allegations. And so maybe there should be some probe into, they should go into it to know, is these things true? Because it doesn't help the development of our security sector.
Right.
If these allegations are true, it doesn't help the development of our security sector.
Right.
We need to strengthen it. And the various agencies, the police, immigration, the military, fire, prisons, and the rest, NADMO and the rest, should be able to work on their own with less interference.
Right.
I think that will help us especially going into 2020. And this suspicion is heightened also because of the elections that we are confronted with. Because then if they are going to be recruited now, the suspicion is that in 5 months or 6 months' time, they will be finishing. And chances are that they are going to be deployed.
Right.
So obviously, the speculations have been going on. So, Annie, I would say that I would urge again, my brother, the Interior Minister, should stop talking and allow the agencies, their PROs, to talk. Tell us, what is it that we need to know that we don't know?
Right. Adam Bona, thank you so much for speaking to us here on this development. We will continue to follow up with the right agencies to find out more as put out by the minority group in Parliament. Now, still